Holes is a 2003 American neo-western comedy drama film directed by Andrew Davis and written by Louis Sacker, based on his novel of the same name, originally published in August of 1998. The film stars Shia LaBeouf as Stanley Yelnats, who is part of the Yelnats family, who have been cursed to be unlucky, which they blame on their ancestors' failure to keep a promise to a fortune teller over a century earlier in Latvia. One day, Stanley Yelnats is wrongfully convicted of stealing a pair of sneakers that were donated to charity by a baseball player and is sentenced to 18 months at Camp Green Lake, a juvenile detention camp, in lieu of jail time. Once he shows up to the juvenile detention camp, Stanley Yelnats discovers that the warden, played by Sigourney Weaver, is forcing many of the juvenile prisoners to dig holes all day in an attempt to find buried treasure in this dried up lake. The film was directed by Andrew Davis, and I didn't realize this, but Andrew Davis actually previously directed a lot of action films. Two of the most notable ones were Under Siege and The Fugitive. It's kind of a crazy thing that he transitioned from directing action films to making this kind of Disney Channel, very amazing classic Disney Channel or Disney Pictures film. And yeah, he does a fantastic job. And when it comes to editing, cinematography, giving good direction to the actors, I mean, this movie altogether is just a classic. And I'm just going to be saying so many positive things about this film. Now, the book written by Louis Sacker, I remember it came out. I remember when it was like popular in my elementary school for a long period of time, and in 2003 when this movie came out, I remember my teachers actually showed the class the trailer to this film, and for the upcoming kind of elementary scholastics book fair, because they wanted more kids to be interested in this book, and they said, hey, look, there's a trailer for this new film coming out. I remember at the time the movie came out, everybody sort of forgot about it, and it was until like a few years later that I actually finally watched this film, and I am just surprised at how good it is. I mean, Shia LaBeouf in this film is really a great actor, and he shows his acting talents throughout, because compared to his other films that he's done, I feel like Holes is Shia LaBeouf's best film, and people can argue in the comment section down below on whether I'm right about that, but that's just how I feel. I don't see any other of his movies that he's played sort of a major role in as that good. I feel like Shia LaBeouf in this film was excellent, as he just came off of the show Even Stevens, which was a hilarious show, and I think he was absolutely great. Also, there's the acting greats such as Sigourney Weaver, Jon Voight, Patricia Arquette, Tim Blake Nelson. I mean, there's also the kind of teenage juvenile prisoners who all of them do a standout job. Now, knowing that this is sort of a Walt Disney Pictures film, you know that there's not going to be a lot of profanity in it. No profanity or obscenities in it whatsoever. Not that much. So it's kind of amazing that these characters come off as believable, real. They have real backstories, really depressing backstories of how they ended up in this kind of juvenile detention camp. It's sort of amazing that they do a stellar job in this movie, and I'm surprised that many of the supporting actors who played the prisoners didn't go on to do much of anything else. So in the film, Shia LaBeouf's character has a friend, Hector Zeroni, who is played by Cleo Thomas, and I have not seen him in any other films other than Walking Tall starring Dwayne Johnson, as he sort of hasn't done much of anything else. I mean, it's kind of incredible to me that many of these actors haven't really accomplished much of anything else. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I think that in a way, the description that I can give for this film is that it is extremely wholesome, in the sense of it tells the story of Stanley Yelnats having to overcome his family curse, and it goes back and forth in time from his story at the juvenile detention camp to his family, his ancestors, how this curse came upon his family, how it affected the people in America, how it plays into the kind of location that they're at, the dried up lake bed, and it's all done extremely well. I know that some of the criticism I heard from, for example, the Nostalgia Critic, or not the Nostalgia Critic, but Doug Walker, when he reviewed this film for Disneycember, he stated that the editing choices were kind of weird, as it was a little bit kind of threw him off at times. I feel like the transitions, the dissolves, all of that stuff is very unique to this film, as it's actually pretty good how it goes back and forth between the modern day to the story back then, to his ancestors and so on and so forth, how it dissolves and transitions back and forth. I thought it was actually pretty good. I'm not really that I don't see it as big of a deal in all honesty. Now, the thing that's so great about this movie, has been developing sort of a cult following. I'm not sure if I would say a cult following, but it's just that people have generally started to kind of notice this film again, discovered how great it is, discovered really how much of a fantastic and classic story it is. Because the thing is that I think when it comes to writing, when it comes to characters, it doesn't have that kind of corniness that Walt Disney movies tend to have. There are some elements that are present in this movie, but they're not very much distracting. It's amazing in that sense. It didn't do that at all. It's almost a very serious movie, and a lot of the serious elements in this movie really are done well. There's a scene in this movie that I don't want to spoil, in which a character dies, and I thought I cried the first time I saw that. That was an amazing scene. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because I really want people to watch this movie. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of incredible to me that it goes above and beyond kind of that kind of Disney-esque type of films. You know, the corny family style movies that are so forgettable and so bland, or just so corny at times that you just are like, wow, this really sucks. This movie doesn't do that at all. And I think Andrew Davis's directing, even though he's an action film director, is quite phenomenal in my opinion. The one thing is, I've never read the book by Louis Sachar. A lot of people when I was in school told me it was actually pretty good and very engaging, but I would like people in the comment section down below to tell me, is the book as good as the movie? Is it better than the movie? Like, let me know, because I would actually, I'm not fully interested in actually kind of seeking out this book and reading it, but I would like to know if there's people out there who have read it, who see it as better than the movie, or if the movie is actually far better than the book. Let me know in the comment section down below, because I would love to learn more about the book and the writer Louis Sachar. So all I can say is just check this movie out. I'm amazed that this movie really wasn't as popular when it came out, and it's only gaining popularity with time as people see it as for what it is, a classic. And yeah, I can't say anything much more. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Just generally check out this movie. It is absolutely fantastic. I hope you guys like this video. Hope you guys like me just ranting and rambling about this fantastic Disney classic film. Yeah, stay safe, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.